What if the person society calls a criminal becomes the only one who truly understands an innocent child? After spending 12 long years in prison, Eddie Palmer returns to his hometown hoping for a fresh start, but life has something unexpected waiting for him. He meets a little boy named Sam, someone the world refuses to accept, someone everyone calls different. But Eddie sees something others don't, a pure heart, full of love. As their bond grows stronger, Eddie slowly becomes Sam's only protector, standing against society, fighting every obstacle like a one-man army. But when the past comes back and the system turns against them, will Eddie be able to protect the one person who changed his life forever? This is not just a story of redemption, it's a story of love, acceptance, and fighting for someone who means everything. Today's movie is Palmer. After serving 12 years in prison, Eddie Palmer, a former high school football standout, was recently freed. He visits his grandma, Vivian, first. She is ecstatic to see him after all these years and gives him a hearty hug. While preparing a supper for him, she gently reminds him that he has already paid the price for his previous transgressions. It's time to let go of everything and begin again. She also shares with Eddie her Sunday church attendance pattern, implying that if he continues with her, he could find solace in developing a similar practice. Eddie observes the family residing next door in the meanwhile. Sam, a small child, lives in the house. However, Sam is different from other children in that he likes to play with dolls and frequently dresses like a girl. As a result, he is perceived as unique by others around him, and society is quick to condemn or ridicule him. Eddie has a profound understanding of Sam's inherent purity, kindness, and love. Eddie sets out into the town with the intention of rebuilding his life, knowing that he must find employment. He meets a number of individuals on his first day, converses with them, and even dines with them at a restaurant, but he is unable to secure employment in spite of his best efforts. Sam goes to church with Eddie's grandma the following day. Before heading back home, they stay there for a while. Eddie's grandma later asks him to handle some shopping. Eddie sees his neighbors, Shelley and Jerry, leaving as he goes outside. He continues shopping after seeing them go. He sees a notice at the business indicating that they are recruiting. Eddie goes to apply for the job in the hopes of getting a chance, but the employee tells him that every position has already been filled. He returns home disappointed. He finds Sam in their home when he gets back. He will be living with them for the time being, since it turns out that Shelley left him there before leaving. When Eddie notices that Sam is playing with dolls, he attempts to explain that males don't often play with dolls, but Sam just ignores him. They all get together for supper later. Eddie's grandma says during the lunch that even though he went shopping, he didn't give back all of the money. Eddie becomes agitated upon hearing this. Being implicated in this way bothers him, since he knows he gave back every cash, especially because he is already having trouble finding employment. That evening, Eddie goes to a pub and has a drink because he is frustrated. He sees a banner regarding a job interview for a school caretaker position as he is about to depart. He travels to the school and shows up for the interview the following morning. He is informed by the principal that the job primarily entails maintenance and cleaning. But when the principal finds out that Eddie has a criminal history, he is reluctant to hire him because he thinks it may endanger the pupils. However, the principal ultimately chooses to hire Eddie after learning about his relationship with his grandma. His grandma is a well-liked person in the community, which explains why. They come home that evening and have a heartfelt and upbeat supper together. Eddie goes to work the following morning. He approaches every assignment with diligence. It's interesting to note that Sam attends the same school, so they return home together at the end of the day. However, there is a devastating incident the next day. Eddie discovers that his grandma has died as he enters her room. As he considers the loss, tears well up in his eyes. After making all the funeral preparations, he departs home, leaving Sam and himself alone. Eddie drives Sam directly to the police station the following morning. He tells the cops that because the boy's mother hasn't been back for a few days, they should be in charge of him. Eddie departs once the cops give them approval. But Eddie quickly comes to the conclusion that his choice was incorrect. He returns and takes Sam home out of a sense of duty. He goes back to work as normal the next day. Maggie, Sam's teacher, pays Eddie a visit one day. She advises him to call her if he ever needs assistance and offers him her phone number. She adds that Shelley, Sam's mother, frequently acts in this manner, abandoning her kid and going missing for days at a time. Maggie then departs. After your grandmother passed away, you must feel really sad. You probably miss her a lot. Sam asks Eddie for the first time that evening. Gently, Eddie acknowledges that he does miss her. Eddie sets Sam off at school the following day and carries on with his work, gradually adjusting to this unanticipated new existence. Eddie brings Sam to a football game that night. They drive back home when it gets late, but Eddie leaves Sam behind and goes to a pub where he indulges in excessive drinking. At another point, Eddie also takes Sam to a fair where he runs into Maggie again. Eddie finds out about her background throughout their conversation. Maggie informs him that she had a blissful married life when residing in Atlanta. However, things finally broke apart, resulting in a divorce. She is currently employed as a teacher in this community. Eddie shares his own history after hearing her tale. He acknowledges that he spent 12 years in prison as a result of several poor decisions he made when he was younger. In an attempt to start afresh, he returned to his hometown after completing his sentence. When Eddie drops Sam off at school the following day, the principal sees them. The principal asks Sam if Eddie always brings him to school after Eddie departs. Sam says he does, but he doesn't elaborate. Although the principal doesn't inquire more, it appears that she is interested in their connection. Eddie brings Sam to a coffee shop after school where they converse. Eddie is asked by Sam why he was incarcerated. Eddie only informs him that he was imprisoned after stealing stuff and getting caught. However, Sam simply responds that he and his mother have both stolen items, but neither of them has ever been imprisoned. Eddie can't contain his laughter when he hears this. Eddie tells Sam that he must return the items he took from school when they get home. They arrive early at school the next morning, and Sam returns everything he took to his pals as promised. Sam's birthday is almost approaching. Eddie invites his instructor Maggie and a buddy to a little celebration that he plans. The day is made even more special when he gives Sam a gorgeous guitar. Later, Maggie inquires about Eddie's family throughout their conversation. Eddie says in passing that when he was a kid, his parents left him. Maggie discovers a note that Eddie's grandmother left behind in the house while they are talking. As it happens, it has to do with the property. Eddie consults a lawyer right away and discovers something startling. His grandmother had given the church all of her belongings before to her death. Eddie never anticipated this. He is devastated to learn that he only has 30 days left until he must leave the residence. Sam is teased by several of his classmates one day because he doesn't behave or appear like them. When Eddie sees this, he intervenes right away. He snatches the youngster who is causing Sam the most trouble and threatens to break his hand if he does it again. The boy is clearly terrified. Eddie brings Sam to a mall a few days later. Sam chooses an outfit for females when shopping. Sam is adamant that he wants the outfit because his friend has one just like it, despite Eddie's attempts to explain that it's not for him. Ultimately, Eddie caves. A woman approaches them as they are ready to leave the mall and alerts Eddie. She threatens to report him to Child Protection Services after informing him that it is against the law to keep the child with him in this manner. Sam responds by arguing that Eddie is a decent man and that he helps him a lot. Sam is swiftly pulled away by Eddie, who then drives him home. Eddie does something unexpected when he gets home. He lets Sam wear the dress before driving him to school. The other children begin making fun of Sam as soon as they get there. However, the instructor intervenes and drastically alters the circumstances. She says it's similar to Halloween in that individuals are free to dress whichever they wish. For this reason, Sam is dressed as a female, but she is clothed as a guy. The ridicule is silenced by her backing. Eddie and Maggie, Sam's instructor, are going to have supper together that evening. Eddie shares details of his background with them. He tells her that he was a football player in the past and had attempted a variety of occupations until robbing an affluent family one day out of desperation for cash. But things went wrong. They were discovered, a brawl started, and he was finally taken into custody by the police, who sentenced him to 12 years in jail. Sam receives an invitation from a girl called Emily to play at her house the next day at school. Sam gladly follows her. Back at home, Eddie begins looking for information online about becoming a guardian for a child. He has been emotionally attached to Sam and formed a strong relationship with him after spending so much time with him. He now desires to take on the role of protector. But all of a sudden, Sam comes home, tears streaming down his cheeks and lipstick all over his face. Eddie asks Maggie what happened right away. She reveals that Sam was in this state when she returned after taking a little break and leaving the children alone. Eddie becomes enraged. When he asks Sam who did this to him, Sam says it was his friend Daryl. Eddie quickly leaves the house, locates Daryl, and begins severely beating him. Eddie doesn't hold back as Daryl begs for forgiveness and tells him to stop. When Eddie gets home after everything, Maggie is there to greet him. She informs him that he didn't need to respond so violently in an attempt to calm him down. There were more calm ways to solve the matter, but what he did was far too drastic. However, Eddie is aware of the gravity of the issue in his heart. He doesn't fight with Maggie about his reaction since he thinks it was essential. Eddie softly tells Sam the following day that although what happened to him was terrible, it wasn't his fault. He should never believe that he was to fault because the others were. Sam's mother, Shelley, unexpectedly reappears while they are conversing. She chooses to bring Sam back with her this time. Eddie doesn't want to let him go, but since he is only a neighbor, he has no legal right to retain him. Eddie gives Sam a heartfelt embrace, packs up everything he has, and reminds him not to forget him. Sam then abruptly departs, leaving Eddie all by himself once more. Nothing feels the same now. Eddie's routine disintegrates. He loses interest in his profession, and he is no longer able to drop Sam off at school. When he awakens one morning, Sam is sitting outside his home. When they speak again, Sam informs him that his parents are considering sending him to a different school, thus he might not be able to remain at the current one. Eddie feels even worse after hearing this, but he is powerless to stop it. When Eddie gets home from work one day, he sees two automobiles driving away from Sam's house. He approaches Shelley right away and inquires as to what transpired. She informs him, sobbing, that Sam was taken away by the police. Eddie leaps into his car and drives off without hesitation. Sam was taken by the police as a result of his parents' involvement in drug misuse. When Eddie arrives to the police station, a female officer informs him that he has no right to become involved in the case because he is not a family member. Eddie is determined, so he goes directly to Sam's house and gives Shelley a paperwork to complete. Eddie can formally become Sam's guardian if she signs it. Shelley, however, declines. Eddie and Maggie appear in court the next day to ask for Sam's custody, but the judge categorically rejects his motion. Eddie, overcome with emotion, sobs and begs for another opportunity, but the court turns him no once more. Eddie's criminal history, which works against him, is the primary cause. Shelley appears in the midst of all of this, and the court finally gives her custody. When Eddie tries to speak with Sam via the window of the home the next day, Shelley enters and removes him. Eddie only wants to meet and speak with Sam because he can no longer stand it. After a while, he hears loud screams coming from the next door. When he arrives, he discovers Jerry abusing Shelley. Eddie intervenes right away, breaks up the altercation, and escorts Sam out of the house. Then, without hesitation, he loads him into the car and leaves, taking him away for a bit in order to keep him safe. However, things don't end up being that simple. When Sally notices all of this, she reports Eddie to the police and even launches a case against him. When Eddie calls Maggie for assistance, she makes it very evident that what he did was wrong and that taking Sam in that manner was a mistake. After giving everything a lot of thought, Eddie returns Sam to Sally's home. Police had already arrived by then, and they promptly arrested Eddie once more and returned him to custody. But a few days later, Sally drops the case, and Eddie is freed. A few days later, Eddie wakes up to find Sally at his door. She has Sam with her, so she is not alone. She now understands where Sam is most content and where he really belongs. She so determines that Sam will remain with Eddie going forward. After giving Sam a hug, Sally walks away. As a result of this occurrence, Eddie resumes his quiet life and concentrates on his career. Eventually, news of Eddie's love and care spreads throughout the city. The cartoon channel Sam used to watch sends him an invitation card to make him happy, along with a special gift made only for Sam. In the end, Eddie hugs Sam, and the beautiful movie ends here.